It's been a 24 hours full of twists, turns, pacts and drama as nationally the Conservatives hold on to power just by forming a coalition with Unionist party, the DUP. Theresa May has faced calls to resign. Corbyn has claimed victory, but his party is still the second biggest. All of that, though, is just the national picture. Over the next hour, we have all the local reaction from Leeds as we find out what the results really mean for us in our city. Move on to one of the other pillars of your manifesto, social care. The situation in Leeds, we've had 3 care homes close. A Labour-run council has increased the precept on council tax, they say, to partly pay for social care to look after the people in this city. What assurances can you give the people of Leeds that what you're pledging in this manifesto will mean less of a hike in the future?
Well,
Hello, welcome back to Made TV News with all the news that matters to you. And let's take a look at some of the stories getting the UK talking now. And a new commission is calling for more research to be done to look into the positive effects that song can have in the care of people suffering from dementia. The Commission on Dementia and Music says singing to patients or loved ones can have a dramatic effect on how well a person with the disease interacts as it progresses. In just over 20 years' time, 2 million people are likely to have dementia in the UK, and the body wants the country to be the best in the world in how we treat and care for those affected.
Don't take my sunshine away. The end of our story.
Well, earlier I spoke to Nicole over Skype. Nicole, thanks for coming on the programme today. I've got to say that every time I watch the video on your project, I get very emotional, tears in my eyes at that. What prompted you at first, because you did a wonderful thing for your grandmother, what prompted you at first to start singing to her?
Well, you know, she always sang to me when I was younger, and she would usually sing when I was sick or needed comfort. And so then I started singing to her when she seemed a little off. And
welcome back to 50 years of the Leeds West Indian Carnival. I'm with a very amazing troupe.
Beautiful, look at that.
Amazing, look at these costumes.
Incredible.
Guys, very quickly, where are you all from?
Birmingham.
Guys, I have to ask as well, just look at these costumes.
Amazing, we should get out of the way, Mark, shouldn't we? Just get out of the way.
Look at this. In that piece, Kerry, you saw Sheila Howarth, who unbelievably has been to every single Leeds West Indian Carnival since 1967. It's her birthday tomorrow as well, I believe.
She loves it, I know, we got to push our birthday. I thought you were old enough to go to all them as well, Mark.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
I
think so, but you're looking pretty young today.
Thanks, cheers.
Now, have you had a best bit?
Should we go to the next part?
Yeah, let's do it. Have you had a best bit today, Mark, at all?
Have I had a best bit? You know what? I've been in the office all day.
We've both been in the office.
We sort of missed the parade.
Yeah, I know we have, but
Dave, who's 52, and Hazel, who's 27, are now set to open up their own studio. Their relationship does surprise some people, but the duo focus their classes on the gymnastic skills rather than sexy dance moves. Certainly is a special bond. Well, earlier today, I caught up with Hazel and Dave over Skype. Hazel, Dave, thanks for joining me today. First of all, it's nice to see that your experience on Britain's Got Talent hasn't fazed you. You're about to open this studio. Now, I know that some people are still taken aback by seeing this relationship. What do you say to people when they question it? Amazing stuff. Well, Brent is still on his travels, so earlier I spoke to him over Skype. Well, Brendan, thanks for coming on the programme today. I believe you're in Uganda at the moment. We'll get onto that in just a minute or so. We've seen the video. I would be absolutely terrified, but what was it like for you? Yes, welcome to this Leeds Results Special, and over the next hour we're live here in the Decision Made studio and on location in the city as we bring you the numbers that matter and indeed how the night was won and lost here in Leeds. We'll also be joined by Christian Johnson and Peg Alexander. They're both in different parts of Leeds Northwest. Christian in Otley and Peg in Hyde Park next to Headingley, and that's because the major story of the night where we're concerned is that the constituency held by the Lib Dems and Greg Mulholland for 12 years swung to Labour and candidate Alex Sobel. We'll get a reaction from Greg's supporters and those at the Brudenell Social Club who appear to be galvanised by a visit from Jeremy Corbyn and helped to oust the incumbent MP. And this leads us very nicely to this. This is the constituency map of Leeds, and this is what it looked like after the 2015 election. Of course, you had Conservatives in Pudsey, in Mullion Atwood and in Elmer and Rothwell, and Labour holding the central Leeds seats, Leeds Central, Leeds East, Leeds North East and Leeds West, with the Lib Dems in Leeds North West. But this is how it looks now. As you can see, not a lot has changed apart from one thing. Leeds North West has swung from the Lib Dems and Greg Mulholland to Labour and Alex Sobel. But that's just one interesting story from the night, of course. There were many others. Remember 2015 and Mullion Atwood and Andrea Jenkins, who stole that seat from Ed Balls. She had a slim majority, just 422. Well, last night she increased that to just over 2,000. Elsewhere, Labour's safe seats of Rachel Reeves in Leeds West, Fabian Hamilton in Leeds North East and Richard Bergen in Leeds East were held. But there was almost a disastrous loss for the Tories in Pudsey. Stuart Andrew holding on by just 300 votes. So an interesting night, and in the studio we have Professor Brendan Evans from the University of Huddersfield and MP re-elected Hilary Benn. We'll get to them in just a moment or so, but first let's hear from Joe Robinson, who has the story of the night.